online. And then now we are going to our manual speech session. And in this session, today with one speaker, but this is a special project. So I want to invite the speakers evaluator to share, tell us what the speakers project is. So please welcome our evaluator, Chia-Yi.
Thank you. It's my honor to be CC's evaluator. I heard that he assigned me to be his evaluator. Okay. And CC project is to moderate a panel discussion. I think this is a big project because it's a panel discussion. It's not just a short speech. And the purpose of this project is for CC to apply his skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. And I know when I see the speech title today, the topic today, I think this is gonna be a very good and practical panel discussion. And I'm looking forward to his host in this panel discussion. Okay, so back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Chia-Yi, to tell us the CC's project purpose. And then I want to introduce our speaker. The speakers tell me if he has a coach and he wants to coach him badminton because he wants to good at badminton. So that is a great because coach our sports skills. And today, CC's project speech title that is, what is the best way to learn English? What is the best way to learn English? Let's welcome our speaker, CC.
I think we need some time to set up. So I need to invite all the
Yes, that is your turn.
to sit here.
Can they see us before we sit down? I think we can speak. I need to like move that. 急一点点。对，
No problem.
谢谢看到了，好像姐姐看不到。对
Is that okay? All the online audience?
Yes, very okay.
Okay. I will just give the panel discussion in a more special way. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the panel discussion organized by the CYTC tonight. My name is Cindy Ho, and I'm the host and the moderator for tonight's panel discussion. So on behalf of CYTC, I sincerely appreciate your participants in our event today. Okay. So tonight's topic is about what is the best way to learn English. So when we graduated from the college, we thought that we finally escaped from the cage of the learning English by forcing to get a higher score on our textbook. That is the paper that we record all the scores of your every subject. Okay, but things never go as we planned. So they are still, when we are starting to work, there are still lots of the occasions that requires us to have to require our English level to a certain degree. So for most of the people who join the Toastmasters, like you or for guys not only on site or on the internet, we still have some stress to improve our English, or we might have some motivation for some. We need to make out of our mind to improve our English and to keep learning English. So the next question is that what is the best way to learn English? This is why I choose this topic for tonight's meeting. But I need to say everyone is different, and there is no one size fits all solution. So what we can do is just listening to others' experience and discover other people's strengths and just learn from learn lesson from their strengths. So this is why I invite these three ladies to share their experience with us. Okay, so I believe you and I can learn something from the panel discussion in the following event. Okay, so I just give you a quick introduction to the three panelists now. So this is Lia Gao, and Lia Gao is now working as a Standard Chartered banker as a digital banking project manager. She has 10 years of experience as a project manager that focuses on digital banking and the fintech solutions that drives the digital adoption, digital sales, and digital wealth. In the past, Lia received her bachelor degrees in Department of the Foreign Language and Literatures, National Taiwan University. So I think that she can represent the type of people who learn English with taking the classical training. Okay, so the second one is Vivian Chen. Vivian Chen is now working at the Global Karma Medical People. So she is responsible for providing educational training related to all the clinical professionals. Okay, in the past she was an occupational therapist, and she helped the patients to do assistant technology assessment for GP, and help the dementia patients to recover some of their functionalities to a certain level. And I think that Vivian can represent the type of people who have some strong self-motivation to keep improving their English capability. And then the final panelist is Carla. Carla is now a research assistant of the College of the Life Sciences in the National Chia-Yi. She's working on providing interdisciplinary Okay, the course is to students and professionals in the field of the food sciences and the biotechnology. Before she moved to Taiwan, she received her PhD degree in the Department of Pharmacology and Neurosciences in Texas Tech University Healthy Science Center. So I think I invited Carla to represent the type of people who learn English in the native environment. So okay, so now I just want you guys to share something. I prepared several questions for you, and I want you to share your opinion. Okay, so this is the first question. The first question is that what is the purpose that motivates you to learn English? We know that because we already graduated from college, so we don't have the stress anymore given by the teacher to push out to force us to learn English. So I want to know what is the reason and what is the purpose of you to motivate you to keep improving your English skills. So Lia, can you share something with us?
Sure. I think originally I kind of fell in love with English when I was in junior high. I was a big fan of Western music, so it's natural for me to listen to a lot of Western songs and read lyrics and just watch interviews with my favorite singers. So English is the tool that can get myself closer to my idols and my favorite singers and artists. So I think that's my original goal, to start really put focus in learning English. But as for now, because I work in an international bank, sometimes I have to present to international audiences, including colleagues, clients, and our vendors. So it's really important for you to have good presentation skills in English. So that's why I have this urge to carry on practicing English on a daily basis to keep myself, have that English ear and English tongue, so I won't be, stuck in the middle in the presentation.
Yeah, that is good. Because, if you have some need, then you will always have you
Right.
push you forward.
That's right.
Right. Okay, so, and how about you, India? So what is the motivation to learn for English?
Okay, so when I was in school, of course, I want to achieve the higher score. So I naturally got this motivation to learn English to get higher score. But after that, because I like to travel abroad. So when I'm abroad, it is frustrating if I can't understand what local people are talking about. And if I can't communicate with them and knowing their culture and their lifestyle there, I felt isolated from them. So I wish to learn English so that I can interact with them more when I'm traveling. So this is my main motivation of learning English. And of course, when I'm at work, I also need I also need to do some research or presentation to our foreign sales or leaders too. So that is my other motivation, learning English.
Okay, so I just think I have the same experience that when I would travel around the abroad, and I just struggle in the communication with people about the political topic and some history topic. So this is another motivation for me to improve. Then how about you?
Well, my first motivation is just like Leah's. I still remember when I first heard the English from the computers, and how it moved me. So I fell in love with learning English. But as I grew up in high school, I grew up in a very in the community that every neighbor's kids went to abroad to study. So my mom kept telling me, you need to go to abroad to study, you need to go to America to study. So I was totally brainwashed in the high school. So that's my goal since the high school. So learning English simply because I want to go study abroad. So after I finally actually started in the US, learning English is kind of a survival skill. You have to survive no courses. So, and then later when I get to know local people, the culture, I find out that learning knowing a language, a different language very well, really opened a new world for me. I can know a whole new world. So and that helped me learning English. And so even after I moved back here, Taiwan, where I don't really need English that much, but I still want to keep that skills. It's still a tool for me to explore more about the country.
I think now really don't need the English anymore because you are a researcher, right? A researcher right now, right? So you still have
not very much. My job doesn't really need me to keep learning. So the basic skills I had is already enough for me. So I don't really need to, but I want to because like probably some of you here learning in this environment help you to make friends. And you also have chance to know more about other things.
Okay, so your answer just remind me just can be the motivation to the next question. So I just want to know that I think the environment and or the culture people affect on the way we learn the new language. So I just want to ask you, do your surroundings, job or past even current experience affect how you learn English, and are they? I mean, those things are they helpful for your English learning? How about you? What is your opinion?
Yeah, I think I can be divided into different stage. I started learning English when I was 7, but at that time, learning English means fun. games,
Yeah.
competition, candies. So I really enjoy learning English back then, and especially I learned with foreign teachers, so they are a really good source and model for, you know, this, grammar or pronunciation. So these are the good sources. But after that, when I entered junior high, I kind of stopped because I'm not that good in grammar because of the way of, you know, learning as a child. You know, in that kind of environment, they do not focus very much on grammar. So enter junior high and senior high, I need to put a lot of efforts in, you know, getting things straight with grammar. It's really tough and, you know, boring for me at that time. But I still, you know, I met a really good teacher. She is really motivated. So she knew that I'm struggling with grammar, but she has provided a good approach and framework to help me, you know, narrow the grammar things down and in a graphical way. So I think that helps me a lot. And after that, I was still nervous when I need to speak English. I'm not that comfortable, you know, using my oral skills. But the thing changed when I entered when I pursued my master degree, because I joined an international program that I was surrounded with a lot of, you know, international students. So on a daily basis, I need to communicate with them in English. So even not in a, you know, class environment, I still need to use English. It kind of like a great push for me to use English more, you know, more often. So I think that's one of the key reasons.
Okay, so you think that the people around you that really affect you are learning English and like the way you learn English?
Right. I think if you have an immersive environment, whether you're really overseas or you're just in your own country, but you have this environment that you are surrounded by English, it can also help you a lot.
Okay. And how about you? So I think because you started abroad,
Yes.
in Latin America, right, in the past. So, I mean, in your opinion, that you have using is there any difference that the environment of people?
Yes, definitely. When my early stage, like before I went out, it's very similar like me. We have a good mentor. You met a good teacher and she will be helpful and you keep your interest. And then, but that only like makes you reach certain level. So when you really go out in the native language environment, it's really like force you to learn really fast. And you have to learn the jokes, the culture to understand the daily conversation. For example, I was in Texas, so it's kind of not south. So we call Coke soda Coke, right? But my advisor, she is from the north of America. They call it pop. So when the first time I heard she and the postdoc in her lab talk about pop, I was like, so I was in my department. I was the only Chinese speaking students. All my classmates are from India or American. So I was forced to learn English, not just in the native the accent, but also had a lot of different accents I have to learn. The first year I was in the first month while I was in the lab, I couldn't understand my lab mate at all. So it was really struggle, but that pushed you to learn faster. And when I chose my lab, none of my lab mates speak Chinese either. And I do a behavioral pharmacology. So basically we stay in the lab and working on pigeons and rats, train them to do some work. So we have a lot of time waiting outside of the real equipment room. So I had a lot of time to chat with my lab mate. And I haven't had a very talkative lab mate. It was really fun, and he teach me a lot of stuff. So the first time my lab mate heard me say a curse word, They all celebrate. They're like, yay, you could not do curse.
For people who don't know the curse word,
Like an F word.
F word, F.
So that I will maybe I don't even remember one like occasion, but all of them celebrate. So that was really fun. And yeah, so the environment makes you have to move really fast and really fast, and it really helps.
Okay. So, okay, so from Leah and the Carlos sharing, we know that the people and the surrounding environment, even the environment, affect our English learning very much. But so we might want to know, so for people who don't have that kind of people to help them, or for people who don't have this kind of chances to study abroad and study outside. So how can they to improve their English? So this is my next question. So Vivian, so in your opinion, what are the most effective way to learn English? Because I think your background is not that like, but they're hard to ladies. So what in your opinion, could you share something?
Okay, so what are the most effective ways to learn English? I think it depends on what stage you are in. For example, we all know that at first you need to okay. Let me think. At the beginning, I also think it is important to raise the motivation, either by foreign teacher, they give you candies and games and awards to make you motivated, or as like me, I watch English cartoon when I was little, so I have that surrounding that make me feel English is interesting. Once you think English is interesting, you will have the further motivation to doing so, to learning. But for now, I can have simple conversation, but I am at a medium level. So what are the most effective way for me to learn English? I think is to listen more and have more conversation with the native speaker, and to know more vocabularies or idioms, so that when I communicate with them, I can have more materials to speak. Yeah, so listening by American drama and communicate with native speaker. That's my two main thoughts of the English.
Thanks. Okay. I think my stage is I mean my experience is quite similar, like the one this Vivian said, because I studied in Taiwan, and even though I have the chance to postdoc researches before in the past, but I just give up with the chances since I got the position in the Zhongzhen. But to me the most effective way to learn English is that I just try to improve my skills just stage by stage. For example, when I was a PhD student, we need to read a lot of the material to find the new ideas and to quickly build up the background in the topic that we are focusing right now, and the focusing on. And when I start to write a paper, I just force myself to write lots of the papers in short in 2 or 3 years, several like 15 to 16 papers, like in 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I just that's a lot, right? But it just I just just improve it by just giving just assigning a task or a goal to achieve it. And before I joined Toastmasters, I just find that I have more and more opportunities to give a speech on the international stage, or I need to attend the like a technical committee meeting, TDC meeting, to review paper, to discuss the paper, to decide that if this paper can get rejected or accepted in this conference with foreign academic guys. So then I just moved my target to have to speak a much fluent and to have a more skills to the public speech. So this is what I learned. I just for me, I just set a goal or a task and to make it like a task and make a deadline, and that deadline can force me to have a more progressive outcome. Okay, so this is what I learned from that. Okay, so then how about you? In your opinion, what is the most effective way?
Yeah, I was thinking about this question. It actually is quite similar to Vivian's sharing, but I wanted to point out some different views. First of all, I think you need to be really aware what you're learning about your goals. Like, it would be good if you can focus on practice your output, speaking and writing, because that's where you need to put all of your skills into practice and really make something out of your English ability, squeeze yourself and to produce something.
Which
So I
means
think
that you just try so hard to come out of your energy or your energy something.
Without this process, I don't think you will make really great improvements on English. You need to go through that really tiring work, squeeze English words out of your body by speaking or writing. And it will be even better if you have a good mentor that can point out the mistakes you have made and give you good examples to follow, especially in writing. Yeah. In my first job, I was a publicist, so I need to write like press release, copywriting, and such. But I have a really good manager who will read really carefully my work, and at first he crossed out a lot of my writings at first, but eventually I know what to write and how I can manage the sentence and what vocabulary I should use. So I think I've improved quite a lot with this, really high pressure training.
The pressure to make you America to have much more progress. Right? So then how about you?
Yeah, I think for both, so I agree with both of them. It really depends on which stage you are in. You need to build basic vocabulary at first. But in the later stage, in my opinion, if you really want to be good at a language, not just English, just think about how you be good at Chinese. You need to write. You really need to write. And when I mean writing, I don't mean that you type what you want to write in Chinese and then put that Google Translate and you translate the sentence to the little bit change. No, you need to write in English. Really start thinking in English and write in English. Don't translate your Chinese into English. And then after you write your first draft, make somebody to then correct it and try to look at the same sentence. I can say this the same sentence use different words, a more native way to say it. The process, once you go through the process, again, that will help your speaking and also help your listening. So it's like a positive feedback. So but writing, because writing, you need time to squeeze out. You need time, you can spend time to really think. It's not like you practice speaking English. have to think the word like right away, and you don't have time to refine that word. But when you're writing, you have the time to refine the way you say it, and that will help you to get better. And that's why I keep telling my club members, always need to write the script. And that's how you really improve. And that's how I really improved in my writing and overall English. When I was first joined Toastmaster in the US, I had to, because all my audience speak English, I don't want to make any mistakes important than, especially the grammar mistakes, that makes me awkward. So I always write whatever I want to say, not even when I was a Toastmaster, I also write everything. So after a few times of writing, it really helped me to get better. And then later, once you do that for a few times, later you don't really have to write every time, because you already know in this kind of situation what you want to say, and that will give you the impromptu skills because you have prepared in the beginning. So I think writing really helps. And also watch films. I really like with English title.
Yeah. Because okay, so Carla, you just mentioned a very important point that you need to start to thinking with English, and then we try to not just translate the word or the sentence you want to say from the Chinese to English. So this is just reminding to another question. So how do we when we learn the English to a certain level, and then we might meet the difficulty that there is just a message barrier, yeah, that we need to cross put to a barrier, so that we can just get to the next level. So my next question is like, how do we take our English skills to the next level? So yeah, okay. Okay, yeah.
I think it still depends on your purpose. Like for me at my stage, I have two goals. One is to have greater presentation skills and more fluent English speaking skills when I'm at work. But also in my personal life, I would like to get to know American culture better, because I'm a little bit good at business English, but I'm really poor at daily English conversations. Right now, I'm trying to speak English with my daughter at home, but I often just stuck in the middle. I don't know how to say 漱口 in English. Like these simple vocabularies, I never think of them before. Yeah, so I would like to pick those vocabularies up. So I would really would like to improve that. So now I'm learning with my kids, just learn all the English that you might need in your daily life, and also by watching dramas, I can get to know more about American culture and slangs, the idioms that they're using in the daily conversation, which will not be listed on your textbooks.
Do you guys pause when you see a word you don't know?
Yeah.
I always look up the Urban Dictionary.
Yes,
Urban Dictionary.
We'll give you the correct.
Yeah, the correct meaning for local usage on that word.
I used to hate watching movie with Ross because he always pause.
But you have to be done, right?
I used to hate watching.
Hear you.
I actually realized, I'm just saying.
Okay, so usually you got some time, then what is your evening discussion?
So my goal is to, just like I said, my main motivation is to communicate with people. So I want to learn daily life English, and yeah, I want to learn conversation and also via English to know other countries' culture. So for me, to bring my English skills to the next level, the method will be just watching, just like I said, watching American drama and talk to native speakers. And I also mentioned I want to learn more vocabularies and idioms because they use them a lot. So when I learn some vocabularies and idioms and I use them in the conversation and I've heard them from the American drama, it will reinforce me to remember that, and I can use them after that naturally. So this is my way to bring my English skill to the next level. I hope so.
At one point, do you guys like listen to audiobooks? I find it really useful lately. Yeah. When I do house chores, I can just play it and just naturally create an environment for English learning. And I learned a new word lately, trajectory. Yeah. Back then, I don't know what that means, but it keeps coming up in my books. Like finally looked at okay, trajectory. Wait, no.
Yeah, I think it's important to choose the right material to listen because we're in different level. So for example, I would choose an MP01 or like English news because I know some news happening out there, so I will know something.
Okay, so Carla.
Well, I listen to podcasts a lot. I used to drive like 30 minutes to work and 30 minutes back. So on my way, I always listen to podcasts. And I used to listen to a lot of American podcasts, and that keeps me also still knowing their culture, what's happening there. So maybe that's a way I can recommend some of the podcasts to you if you want to.
Yeah.
And that podcast I think is a good way to learn the culture and some kind of English. There's a podcast very fun. It's called Trivial. They just called the group of people on the stage to the program and they ask very trivial questions. And then a lot of them at first I couldn't understand their question at all. But after a few times I started to learn, you really need to learn your culture to know really understand this question. So it depends. Like if you want to only know the daily life stuff, you have different podcasts to reflect on American life. That's another good one. They have really good stories about American people, different kind of state, and that will help them to learn that culture.
Okay, so I think all of you guys provide a very big comments or suggestions to help the people who really want to put their English to the next stage. So I just give a quick conclusion so that we can still have several minutes for the Q&A. Okay, so I mean, during the those discussions, we can say that we can know that to the most effective way to learn is very it's different to the different people. So, but there are some common factors. The first one is that we need to keep our motivation, keep our to be motivated. So you need to find out what is your desire to improve your English and try to find out the most effective way to help you to maintain your momentum. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to know. And second thing is just even though we are in Taiwan, but we don't have the environment, a native environment of people to help us to improve our skills. But we still can just try to build these things by ourselves. We can just find the native people that on the internet, just like the Cantonese, or just making the Korean friends and to talk with them, to come with them, so that you can learn the local usage of some words and know the cultures, so that all these things can help you to become better. Okay, the next thing is just try to just keep going and going. Okay, so I think we still have several minutes for the keep questions. So is any questions from the audience on this room or on the internet? Just if you are on Zoom, just say something. Okay, if you have a question, just directly say down. Ross, as the husband of Carla, do you have any question to her?
Comment.
Well, I don't have any comments, and yeah, thank you for hosting this panel. I think I learned a lot, and I think this important thing for me is like I'm not new to English, but for me, actually, I kind of stopped here as where I am for a while, and I think that I really it inspired me the question you have. So how can we get into the next level? I think that's I heard some good suggestions, and I'm thinking about trying it and then try to make myself better. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Well, actually, maybe you can try to, for me, why I know the English in neuroscience from college. That's what I studied. But when I first started work in Taiwan, I was a business development specialist. And the first few times I need to write an English business letter, I don't know how to write. I don't know what's the correct tone, correct way to say this. So that your job forces you to learn words or the whole English in a different area. But we cannot just change our professional work. So maybe another way to do is try to give a presentation on a different occupation.
Yeah.
And do some research. Maybe you will learn a whole group new words. Yeah.
Due to the connection with the people from the different fields.
Yeah. So I talked to Ross and he talked to me about his research every day. And I get to know a lot of words from his field.
This is not a complaint. Okay,
I'm sharing. So that's how you know that your spouse.
okay,
He's in the computer and you can learn English for that.
okay. So I think we don't have much time, but again, I really want to thank all you 3 days you helped me to do this project because I'm not alone and I have a partner on the stage with me. So again, just I want to invite all the participants to give a big talk and to the 3 ladies. Okay. So I just this is the end of this panel discussion. So I will return my control back to the top members.
Wow. Thank you, CC, conduct this panel discussion.